Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari and today I want to talk about a mind-blowing topic of the bhakti tradition, which is a topic of Yogamaya. Very fascinating. It's a fascinating concept, and it's amazing to see, like in the scriptures, these great sages, these great masters, cosmic masters from the Vedas, these space traveling cosmic masters like Narada Muni, and these great, avatars like Uddhava coming down. They get their minds blown away. Queen Kunti, they all have these amazing moments where they're like, this is so wild, this concept of Yogamaya just blows their minds away. So what is the idea of Yogamaya? First, I'm going to describe to you what the idea is. And then I want you to have a little patience because I want to read from you the most important classic example of Yogamaya being switched on and being switched off in the scriptures, which is a story from Krishna's infancy. Krishna's early years in Vrindavan, and this is taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm going to read several verses, 12 verses from this beautiful section of the Bhagavatam, which shows Yogamaya in action. But first, let me explain what Yogamaya is. The idea is this: you do yoga, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you're practicing Bhagavad Gita. And what's the thing we're trying to overcome? We're trying to overcome Maya. So you hear this word Maya, illusion, the Lord's illusory potency. So the idea is, Maya is what is the Matrix. I mean, if you saw the movie The Matrix, Maya is this energy that makes you believe and identify with matter. It makes you not see anything beyond matter. So you're stuck in matter, you're eluded by matter, by your identification with your bodily self. So that's Maya. So the whole purpose of yoga is to overcome Maya. So you're not eluded anymore, you're not confused, you're not failing to see God in everything, because that's the definition of Maya given in the Bhagavatam as well, by God himself, by Lord Narayana directly. He says, Maya, it's when you see something or a situation and you think it's not connected to me. It's like you fail to see God in anything or anyone or any situation. That's Maya. This failure to connect to the divine and see God in everything and in everyone and in any situation. So that's the definition of Maya. So you do yoga so you can overcome Maya. So you can see the power and glory and potency of the Lord in everything, everyone, in every situation. So that's okay. So we all agree on that. But then what you have in bhakti, in these high levels of bhakti, especially connected with the Krishna tradition, because Krishna comes and he does what's called nara lila, which is a mind blower. He does these human-like actions. He mingles with humans and he performs human-like actions. So it's called nara lila. Lila is a special word which means an activity God performs just for the sake of enticing love. And nara means human. So these special divine activities in the human-like realm. So, of course, you've heard the stories. Krishna comes and he takes the form of a little baby, and so he grows up. So that's already like, God doesn't grow up, of course. God doesn't take birth. So he does these, and then he's like afraid of his mother when she chastises him, like stuff like that. Like he plays around, he's a naughty boy, So these are called nara lilas. So these are activities. That's already like, whoa, how God is doing these things. It's like, what? Like Lord Brahma and Lord Indra, they're like, what? They can't figure this out, and they test him out just to make sure he really is God, because it's such a mind blower. So that's already like, wow, what's going on? But then these great, great, great souls who get to come and have developed this intense prema, that's the word, this intense special love of God. Prema is a special word, prema. It's just like a special kind of love, just like for love of God. It's not like you can't have prema for your dog or your plant, or it's a special word for like this sweet, intense perfection of love, devotion to God, prema. So these very special prema bhaktas, these special bhaktas who have attained this status of being the Lord's intimate associate. And of course, again, this is more connected with the Krishna tradition, because in the Krishna tradition, that's where you can have the most intimacy, is with the Krishna avatar, with the form of God as Krishna. Because that's when you can play with Krishna, you can dance with Krishna, you can joke with Krishna. That's the form. You can't play and dance and joke with Lord Narayan or Lord Rama. It's like, it's more formal, it's a more serious connection. So it's Lord Rama, he's got Sita and that's it, and any other woman who even tried to get funny with him would get severely punished. It's different with Krishna. It's this intensity of love, the different queens and the different cowherd boyfriends and the gopis, of course. So it's very intimate. Very intimate. It's like in the rural environment. It's not like a serious, posh, regal throne. No, it's all very, very intimate. So these special souls who would come down, of course, their avatars would come down with Krishna. They're, with Krishna. And they're living this part, they're doing the part of Krishna's mother, like Mother Yasoda. And so they're living this intimacy with Krishna. Now what they have then, or what happens then, it's like, this is Krishna, this is God. What if they were completely enlightened in the sense of no Maya? So if they had no Maya, they would just be seeing, okay, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the Lord Almighty. This is the one who supports the entire creation, from where we all come from, the beginning, the end, that kind of language, which we'll see in Bhagavad Gita and other religious traditions. So this is the Supreme, all-powerful Lord. So how would that work if Mother Yasoda is trying just to be a sweet mother to this beautiful, sweet baby? It wouldn't work. How would the gopis are just trying to dance, they're hanging out in the forest at night with this beautiful, charming boy, but then he's like the supreme, all-powerful Lord of everything. And then it's like, it kind of spoils the whole mood. It's like, that's like, then you're just falling on the floor and, oh yeah, so Lord. You're doing that kind of thing. So then you have Yogamaya. Then you have Yogamaya. You have this special power, which then makes that soul forget that Krishna is God. It's a special illusion for the soul that already loves Krishna for who he is, for his qualities, his beauty, his charming, his nature, his words, his behavior. They love God for who God is and not what God is. Do you understand this? So there's a special energy that it covers their mind, so they can just love God, but forgetting that he's God. So that they love Krishna as a beautiful child, as a charming boy, as their best friend they can play with and wrestle with on the ground. And they don't have to remember that, who's going to go on a wrestling match with the all-powerful Lord? That's that's no fun. It's like, all power comes from you, you're the Supreme Lord, you sustain everything. And you're not going to wrestle this person, that wouldn't be fair. But if you forget and you just, this is just my friend, we just hang out, we're just joking, we're just horsing around, then it happens. So Yogamaya permits these situations to happen. So and then of course, then in the scriptures these, they'd be like, oh, this is such a mind blower, this is wow, these people, like these highest, and of course the ones who get Yogamaya, that's the highest state. So you get like, the great powerful sage Narada Muni, who's like so enlightened, he's the supreme guru of the whole universe, and he's like, oh, I wish I could have Yogamaya, because he doesn't get it, because his rasa is more like formal. So he doesn't have like a sweet, intimate rasa with Krishna, so he's not going to get Yogamaya. These Yogamaya is only for those with a very sweet, personal, intimate rasa connection, relationship with Krishna. And Narada, is a perfect soul, perfect bhakta. Again, he's like the ambassador of bhakti to the whole universe, but he doesn't get it. He can't have, in a sense, like he can't get Yogamaya. He's praying like, I wish I could get Yogamaya. Devotees like Uddhava Gita, they can't get Yogamaya because they're just not in that type of relationship with God. So it's like, this is the highest point. So, great mind blower, very important concept, Yogamaya. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to read to you a page-long section from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm reading here from the 10th chapter, 10th canto, 8th chapter, verses 32 to 44. These are the translations from the BBT version of the Bhagavatam. And I think these were still written by Prabhupada. I'm not quite sure though. It might already be the disciples of Prabhupada. But so here I'm just going to read this. So just close your eyes, enjoy this, and you'll get to see Yogamaya in action. One day, while Krishna was playing with his small playmates, including Balaram and other sons of the Gopas, all his friends came together and lodged a complaint to Mother Yasoda. Mother, they submitted, Krishna has eaten earth. Upon hearing this from Krishna's playmates, Mother Yasoda, who was always full of anxiety over Krishna's welfare, picked Krishna up with her hands to look into his mouth and chastise him. Her eyes fearful, she spoke to her son as follows. Dear Krishna, why are you so restless that you have eaten dirt in a solitary place? This complaint has been lodged against you by all your playmates, including your elder brother Balaram. How is this? Lord Sri Krishna replied, My dear mother, I have never eaten dirt. All my friends complaining against me are liars. If you think they are being truthful, you can directly look into my mouth and examine it. Mother Yasoda challenged Krishna. If you have not eaten earth, then open your mouth wide. When challenged by his mother in this way, Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, to exhibit pastimes like a human child, opened his mouth. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is full of all opulences, did not disturb his mother's parental affection, his opulence was automatically displayed. For Krishna's opulence is never lost at any stage, but is manifest at the proper time. When Krishna opened his mouth wide by the order of his mother Yasoda, she saw within his mouth all moving and non-moving entities, outer space and all directions, along with mountains, islands, oceans, the surface of the earth, the blowing wind, fire, the moon, and the stars. She saw the planetary systems, water, light, air, sky, and creation by transformation of ahankar. She also saw the senses, the mind, sense perception, and the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the three gunas. She saw the time allotted for the living entities. She saw natural instinct and the reactions of karma. And she saw desires and different varieties of bodies, moving and non-moving. seeing all these aspects of the cosmic manifestation, along with herself and Vrindavan Dham, she became doubtful and fearful of her son's nature. Mother Yasoda began to argue within herself. Is this a dream? Or is it an illusory creation by the external energy? Has this been manifested by my own intelligence, or is it some mystic power of my child? Therefore, let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto Him who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, and arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for He is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. It is by the influence of the Supreme Lord's Maya that because I am the Queen of Nanda Maharaj, all the wealth of cows and calves are my possessions, and all the cowherd men and their wives are my subjects. Actually, I am also an eternally subordinate to the Supreme Lord. He is my ultimate shelter. Mother Yasoda, by the grace of the Lord, could understand the real truth. But then again, the Supreme Master, by the influence of the eternal potency, Yogamaya, inspired her to become absorbed in intense maternal affection for her son. Immediately forgetting Yogamaya's illusion that Krishna had shown the universal form within his mouth, Mother Yasoda took her son on her lap, as before, feeling increased affection in her heart for her transcendental child. It's amazing, isn't it? What a beautiful, intense, hairs on end section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So there you could see Mother Yasoda in her full maternal, parental love. You know, just loving Krishna purely, in pure parental love. And then Yogamaya is removed and she's like, oh, Supreme Lord, obeisances, and she's all philosophical and Vedantic, you know, and it's all like, and then Yogamaya comes back and she's like, okay, let me just take my son in my arm, and she's like, you know, like pure maternal love again. Very important concept. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and have your rest of your day with lots of peace and lots of love. Hare Krishna.